All right, guys. So the meeting this morning is going to be a little different. It's going to be just all we're going to do is go over statistics. And I titled this, and I want to say something before we. If I kind of seemed a little serious when I came in, I want to tackle the just once and for all, and everyone watching. The people watching, obviously, on Facebook or they're watching because they want to. So hey, I appreciate you watching. People that are on the academy or on the university are watching because they paid for it. So if this is coming in later on or whenever you're watching this on your training platform, then your boss or company or you paid for it, so you're entitled to watch it. You guys all work here. Let me just speak to you guys. And then this is true whether you paid for it or you're watching it for free. But we don't do these meetings. I'm gonna just get this out once and for all. This is not like so I can get up here and talk or anybody else. I don't know. Some people want to do that, I think. But I want to put the importance, and Joe's watching this. This is for you guys as coaches. At 9 o'clock, try not to schedule a demo. Listen, and a demo is where you sell something. You get it? A demo is where you sell something. So I understand that. Like if I'm going to go, hey, should we stop and train at 2 o'clock today? And you have a demo, go, hey, screw your demo. We're going to train at 2 o'clock. I would say do your demo. But at 9 o'clock on Monday morning, we need to be in sales training. Let me tell you why. Because anyone who is the best at what they do trains. You understand? Like Tom freaking Brady came here to Tampa and almost got arrested because he's out there throwing a football. When the guy's won 6 Super Bowls or whatever it is, he's throwing the freaking football when he's not supposed to be outside of the park. You understand? Training is important, and the best of the best of the best of the freaking best train. That separates them. You get it? So make that is why it's important. It's not so you can listen to me or anybody else, all right? So I'm a little bit passionate about that. That's what you're getting. I'm not pissed. I'm not mad. I'm passionate. Does that make sense? Because, and it couldn't have happened in a perfect time, more perfect time, to talk about this because my title today is how many sales are you losing? And that's a question mark. You want to write that down? Come on, everyone take notes. Everyone write this down because look, I promise you, this is why you win and why you lose, all right? So I followed it up with a subtitle because I'm literally going over a series, right, of like 30 statistics, okay? And so I said, how many sales are you losing? And then here's the subtitle. Stats don't lie. Real stats don't lie, okay? Real stats don't lie. All right, so let me give you a few of them here. Ready? All right, so how about this one? The top 20% of salespeople close 80% of the business. You guys have heard, if you haven't heard, you've heard it's 80-20 rule. That's what people call it. It's actually called the Pareto principle. You can look it up. It's Paretto, the Pareto principle. That's what it's called. And there's a lot of things. By the way, it's true. But here's what's crazy, okay? You can literally, if that's the case, you can literally look around the room and go, there's no hope for me if there are 20% that you could pick out on different teams and different divisions. If you're watching right now and you got 20 salespeople that work at the dealership or the company you work for, and you're going, okay, so there's 4 people that freaking kill it every month. So, oh my God, the Pareto principle says 20% do 80% of the business. I'm screwed. That's stinking thinking because that's not true. Because to make a statistic overall, there has to be some people doing better than that. You understand? Because there's certainly people doing worse than that. You get it? So to make 80-20, it's a rule, but it's also not. It's a rule that moves. Meaning this company can be 50-50. It can be 60-40 the other way. Because that's what causes things, right, to shift. What they're basically doing in this statistic, it's not like a law that like has to be. It's just an observation of what is. Does that make sense? It's just an observation on studying salespeople. And there's reasons. And by the way, it's rarely because of talent and it's rarely because of potential. That's what's crazy. It's not like one person is a rock star. That might be a little bit true, but it's because of statistics that I'm going to go over here. All right, number 2, 80% of all sales are closed after the 5th attempt. 80% of every deal that's closed is closed after the 5th attempt. Check this out though. Number 3, because they kind of go together. 83% of salespeople don't even ask for the sale once. So wait a minute. If 80% are after the 5th attempt, right? And 83% of salespeople don't even ask for the business. So I want to come back to both of those in a second. So all of sales are after the 5th attempt. Now, I want to. How about this one? 44% of salespeople give up after one follow-up. So if almost half of the people in this room give up after one time, but yet 80% of the sales are after the fifth attempt. What does that tell you? That's the reason that 20% close 80% of the business. It's not because Jerry's really good. It's not because Jeff's really good or whatever it is, or Frank or Susie. It's not because of that. It's because of the statistics. If 80% are closed after the fifth attempt, but yet half the salespeople give up after the first, what does that tell you? Think about that for a second. You know what? You go, well, I've never heard that before. Well, guess what? Here's another one. 90% of salespeople have never read a sales book. I didn't make this stuff up. This isn't my training. These are just, listen, this is how many sales are you losing because the stats don't lie, right? This is just statistics. I'm just repeating what other people have studied and gathering from different places and looking and researching and doing some studying myself. But here's the deal. If 90% of salespeople haven't even read a sales book. So I've asked this question every time I've ever gone over a statistic about that. How many want the doctor that operates on your heart to have never studied that? How about if you get arrested today for doing something, you get arrested for murder and you know you didn't do it? Do you want an attorney that's never read a book on attorneying? You know what I'm saying? I know that's not a word, but you know what I'm saying? I want someone that's read a book. You understand what I'm saying? I want someone that studied their profession, right? I mean, let's just take it down to the base. Like when, like your cable line breaks. I don't want Leon coming to fix my cable. You know what? Your agreement needs to be sent. You don't want Leon DocuSigning your agreement. You want somebody that's read a DocuSign book. You get it? Now, if I want to take some, never mind. Now, if I want to lift weights, right, or be a phenomenal coach, but not DocuSign. You get it, guys? Are you get what I'm saying? So, how about this one? By the way, the one that says 44% of salespeople give up after one follow-up. Listen, guys, that means that 44% of salespeople have an 80% chance they will not close the sale. I want you to think about that for a second. That means that 44% of salespeople, because they give up after one follow-up, 44% of salespeople have an 80% chance that they will not close the sale. That sucks. Those are statistics I don't want to hang my hat on, right? I don't want to lose. I don't want to be a salesperson, right? And try and say I'm going to make an income in sales if I'm not following these the right way, right? Let's look at the next one. How about this? Average sales reps makes only 2 attempts to reach a prospect. So here's what's crazy. It even gets a little crazier because if 44% give up after 1, but yet the average sales rep only makes 2 attempts. So you forgot one thing. It takes 5 attempts to close the deal. So what it does is basically takes it down to an elite group, or really an elite group of not talent, but an elite group of people who are willing to do what it takes, right? And follow up to really sell the business. That's why you have these statistics so out of balance, because 44% give up after 1, but the average sales rep only makes 2 attempts. Why? Because guys, and you got to look at why. Why do you think? We're instant gratification, right? We like instant gratification. We feel like that we're talented. We are, but we are talented. We feel like we're good. So when you're a ball player, you feel you want what? If you're a talented ball player, you want what? If you play baseball, huh? If you're a talented football player, what do you want? The what? The ball in your hand. You ever heard the phrase, give me the ball? Give me the ball, coach. Give me the ball. Just give me the ball. Just give me the ball, right? Who do you hear say that? The sucky person on the team? No. The only person that ever said that wasn't any good was Rudy. You understand what I'm saying? Look, Rudy's a great story. It makes you feel really good. But I don't want to be Rudy. You get it? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be Rudy. Like I want to, you know what I mean? Who says, give me the ball, coach? The all-star players, the ones who put the game on their shoulders, the ones that say, hey, look, give me the freaking ball. Like Michael Jordan is still being talked about today, right? Because that guy would put the whole game on his shoulders at the end, pressure on, fans watching, TV ratings through the roof, give me the ball, 1 second left, I'll take the shot and I'll make it. That's what people do, right? So who says that? People that can do something with the ball. You don't hear anybody else saying that. You understand? So most salespeople give up after 2 attempts. Guys, it's getting like really, really like minute. It's getting like really like a thin line, right? And these are real deals. Let's look at the next one. All right, 2/3 of salespeople identified engaging key decision makers as their top challenge. So 66% of salespeople, right, 2/3, they identified that engaging key decision makers are their top challenge. So let me just say this. If you fall into that category and you thought that you had a rare disease in sales, it's a very common disease. And I didn't say you don't want to do it. I didn't say that you don't know it's the right thing. We'll say, hey, look, Leon, what happened to that deal? Well, we didn't talk to a decision maker. And we'll go, well, I told him. I told him. And here's the deal. They know. It didn't say that they ignore it. It says that they identified it as their top challenge. So what does it tell you? It's a challenge, right? It's something we need to what? We need to train on. We need to get better at. So, okay, how about this one? After your demo or your presentation, right? After 63% remember stories and only 5% remember statistics. Here's what's really cool. You're going to forget these statistics. You're going to remember the gist of them though. You're going to forget like the numbers, but you're going to remember the ones that really matter to you. But here's the deal. Your decision maker that you're pitching, they're going to remember the stories you tell, the case studies and the stories. They're going to forget the statistics. They're going to forget that, oh yeah, listen, you know what? I can help your team, through training. Selling 25 more cars. I can help them sell 35 cars. That's great to get their attention. They're going to forget that, right? What they're going to remember are the case studies, the stories that you tell of lives being changed, the testimonial that came through an email this past weekend that was on Facebook for ADU, that or text message, whatever you guys said, where I saw it, that the guy Dan Weeb, is that what his name is? Dan Weeb is how you say his last name, right? He was on the show a couple weeks ago, said that Auto Dealer University is the best platform in the world. See, he's going to remember that not because statistics, right? He's going to remember that, and he's going to talk about that because of case studies, right? And that's the story that's going to resonate with someone else, not statistics, right? I'm going over statistics now with you guys because I think we need to be shocked. I want us to really get this, okay? Let's look at the next one. 70%, this is number 9, I think I'm in order. 70% make purchasing decisions to solve problems. 70% of your decision makers you talk to make a purchasing decision to solve a problem. Only 30% do it to gain something. See, you're trying to sell for commission, for business, and that's true. And that's ultimately the reason that obviously the people that you sell to are in business to make money and to grow. But 70% of them do it to solve a problem. So what's the problem? What's a problem in training? What's a problem? What's a problem that your client could have in training? One of you guys.
Time.
Huh? Time? Okay. What's a problem they could have? What's a problem they could have at their dealership that training could solve? What? So their people, you mean, don't know how to follow? Okay, good. Somebody else? What's a problem that you could call on a dealership today, and what's a problem that they have that they may need training for? Walk-arounds, okay.
Not handling objectives properly. Retention for even their individuals.
So you guys are, and by the way, they're all right answers. I'm not here to judge your answers. They're all right answers. These are what you're saying out loud right now, and a couple of the IPD guys said it. These are the things that ADU, you guys should be writing down because these are the problems that you got to identify. We have a decision maker silhouette, right? From marketing up there that talk about the problems that our clients face, the things that that are their objectives, right? Because here's the deal: you're calling because you want a deal, but they don't care that you want a deal. They care about the problem they need solved. And if you can't find a way to figure that out and to talk about it and to know what it is, by the way, that's anything in life, right? It's anything in life. Or there'd be no need for the product. That's why we talk about this, when you go into a mall and you find, you want to buy something, and if you get away or out from under the quote ether, right? For a matter of minutes, you change your mind because it really wasn't solving a problem. It was going to maybe just make you feel better. Maybe it's going to be something you wanted, and you talked yourself out of it. But if you got a problem, you see what I'm saying? Like I'm on close to 3.5 acres, and we have a well. And I haven't had a well since I was a kid, and I'm not used to it. I'm used to we live out off on a lake, and I don't like a well. but we had a switch flip. My brother-in-law came over the other day, and he knew how to fix it and flipped it back on. Well, then it went off again like 3 hours, so we had to replace the control box. You better believe I'm paying whatever to get that joker out there that day because there was no water. You understand what I'm saying? I wasn't home, but I was coming home. You understand what I mean? In other words, you get it? And it's like, so that was not like because I wanted something. That was a need that needed to be met. You know what I mean? Like, and one of the prerequisites of what I was looking for is, can you come now? Not how cheap are you, right? Not who can give you the best deal. When can you come out and turn water on? You get it? Because that's what happens when a well goes out. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what in essence, that's who you're dealing with. You're dealing with someone, they don't have an instantaneous problem like that maybe, but there are problems or things they're looking to solve. So 70% make a purchase that way, 30% are there to gain something. And those that want to gain something, by the way, are when maybe you're getting ready to hit like a record, or you're bringing in a bunch of new hires for training, or you're trying to hit a record month and you've got a couple weeks left and you got some extra money you want to throw at something and you're trying to maybe hit a stair-step plan. There's some things there that matters, but a lot of times, most of the time, it's a problem, right? Let's look at the next one, number 10. Customers believe sales reps are almost 90%, right? 88% knowledgeable on their product and 24% on business expertise. They believe that sales reps are 88% knowledgeable on product and 24% on business expertise. What does that mean to you when you hear that?
You know your product more than you know their business. Or that's their perception.
What were you going to say?
You can come off as almost robotic and not empathizing with that problem needs to be solved.
Because you're feature dumping, you're going over your product, which by the way is great. It's great. But it's about you. Right? So only 24%, this is what you got to get better at. 24% think you know about them or about their business. Let's go on. 78% of decision makers polled have taken an appointment or attended an event from a cold call or email sent. So almost 80% of decision makers that have been asked, right, or polled, have taken an appointment, gone to a presentation, a demo, or attended something based on a cold call or an email sent. So I just want to point out that cold call is effective. By the way, you'll hear a lot of things in the sales circles. If you read anything on that, if you go on social media and you type in selling and things like that, you'll hear a lot of people that dog out cold calling. They talk about social selling. They say things like cold calling is dead. Well, let me just tell you, those are people that suck at it. I just want to point out something. Those are people who suck at it. Or they've never been trained at it. They don't know how to do it. They're not effective at it. And that's understandable. Because then you demonize it if you don't understand it. If you get good at it, you're like a freaking Jedi. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you watched Star Wars before? Remember when there was like a few Jedis left in that? I don't remember which one it was. It was like 1 million. But remember, like, it was one of the later ones. It was really one of the earlier ones. But there was like just a handful of Jedis, You know what I mean? They were like in a circle. You know what I mean? And everybody was like, they were training young ones, which is what we're trying to do as salespeople, right? We're sales trainers. We're trying to train. But the reality is this: you're a Jedi, man. I mean, I don't mean that like you're good at what you do, and it's a craft that not everybody gets trained on anymore. And when you get someone, people are still people. And when you get them on the phone, I don't care if you're sending an email, going through LinkedIn, or however you do it. I believe in social selling because you can reach more people. But you're going to eventually have to get them on the phone, and you better know some Jedi moves. You get it? Because people take cold calls. Number 12, only 2% of cold calls result in an appointment or a demo. How about that? That's not because they don't work. That's because the people that do them aren't properly trained. Only 2% result in an appointment or a demo. So here's some numbers on cold calls. It takes an average of 8 cold calls to reach a prospect. I think we'd agree with that. How about this one? 93% of converted leads. What's the converted lead to you? Whatever it looks like. Convert them to a demo, convert them to an appointment, right? 93%. Virtually all converted leads are contacted by the 6th call attempt. Meaning not your 6th call, there's by the 6th call to them. But you know what? You think that's difficult? You try spamming somebody on LinkedIn and find out how many times you got to do that. I can tell you that I could pull up my phone and I just don't respond. Ever. Ever. Get creative. I mean, just send a message, like a long message. This just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. All right? I'm not saying you can't get them through social selling, but everybody can send a message, and that's just common. Get creative. Get creative, right? Get creative. You want to use social selling? Social selling to me is when I go on their LinkedIn account or their Facebook account or any of their Instagram or what have you, and I find something that they did. And then I contact them at the store or their company, and I say, hey, Dave, this is Dave Villa. How are you? Great. Hey, listen, man. Hey, really quick, man. Congratulations on your 5-year anniversary. Oh, wow. I saw a post. I was kind of stalking you, but I was just looking for your number, but I saw that on your post, man. I follow you. Hey, thank you. That's great. Boom. Defenses come down. That's social selling. You want to know what that's social selling. Social selling is not the moment somebody sends me an invite on LinkedIn, the second that they send it, the very moment that I accept it, like within, like no joke, like 10 milliseconds, there's a message in my inbox that is this long that they didn't type, that's obviously auto-created because it instantly appeared. That's not social selling. And I don't even read it. They could be like, you have won $10 million. I don't read it. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know what they are because they don't work. People know that kind of stuff, right? All right, so let's go down. So let's look at number 15, on the phone. On the phone, which we are, right? Tone is 86% of our communication. The words we use are only 14%. Guys, you know what? You have proof of that. Lee, you got some proof of that. Lee said all kinds of crazy things on the phone. They don't even hear it because your tone. You literally said money hole on the phone, right? What else did he say on the phone? He did. He said, no, never mind. I remember what it was now. Yeah, we don't want to. Never mind, we're on. But he said that. He said, like, he didn't. It was like totally. I don't even know if it ever can be used in context, but it was certainly out of context. But the dealer understood what he meant because his tone came. It was like, like I'm gonna tell you something. This is so great. I'm gonna punch you in your esophagus. And the guy's like, yeah, okay, because of your tone. 86% tone, 14% words. You can say the wrong words. It's better that you say the right words, but tone is more important. You get it? Tone is more important. And on the phone, 86% of our communication is based on tone, right? 17, ready? Here we go. We're halfway there, guys. I'm going to try to rush a little more. I want to get through these. All right, ready? If you're going to leave it, by the way, I believe in leaving voicemails. Why? Because you were on the phone and the voicemail picked up, and why would you hang up? Why not just leave some sort of message, right? Use it if you're going to get, I don't believe in that should be a doctrine, but I believe it should be used if you do it. So optimal voicemail message is between 8 and 14 seconds. You don't have time to sell them. If you're going through the whole freaking thing of why you're calling and who you are, you will not get a call back, most likely. So you need to leave a vague message. If I'm calling, let's say I'm calling Jerry Toyota, okay, and I want him to call me back because it's hard to get him on the phone. I can tell you that my voicemail, and I'm doing business with a lot of Toyota stores, but let's just say my most recognizable Toyota store is Leon Toyota, okay? Hey, Jerry's voicemail picks up. Hey, Jerry, David Villa with IPD. Hey, listen, I have a quick question for you. It's regarding Leon Toyota. Can you give me a call back? I appreciate it. Is it Leon Toyota? What do you mean Leon Toyota? This is one of their managers want to come work for me? Oh, wow, I know who Leon Toyota. What does he want? That's because it's vague. And he'll go, hey, so I got a call, something about Leon Toyota. Yeah, hey, how you doing? And you are calling because of that. You're calling to tell them about what you're doing with them. That's what I would do. Very vague, and they'll call you back. Use it to your advantage. Hey, make the voicemail a work for you. Number 18, 15% of every sales rep's time is simply leaving voicemails. Whew. Number 19, 80% of calls go to voicemail, and 90% of first-time voicemails are never returned. If 80% of calls and 15% of your time go to voicemail, we're not leaving appropriate voicemails, and 90% of first-time voicemails are never returned, then let's flip those tables, right? Make it where they are intrigued by it if you're going to do it. If you're going to do it, make it effective. Number 20, average voicemail response rate is less than 5%, 4.8. That's the average. Be above average. Just like when you hear that, what we're conditioned to hear is don't leave any voicemails because they don't work. No, that's average voicemails. Be above average. Be better. To get an average, there's a below average, and there's almost a darn near non-existent sucky person, and then there's some that are really good to pull the average up from 0. You get it? So be above average. Be somebody. You're never going to get 80% of your voicemails returned on a regular basis as a rule of thumb, I would venture to say. But you can. What if you can get half of them? What if you can get 40%? What if you can be in this elite category of that? Then make it work for you, right? But just don't try to get too creative. Just be consistent with what works. And when you do it every time. What do you got to lose? I can tell you whatever you guys are doing, probably this, the new guys, you teach what I'm talking about. So I can tell you, somebody's phone rang when I was about to come in here. One, I think it was Travis's rang when I was getting ready to come in here. You weren't at your desk. Yours rang like 5 times last week while you're gone that I know of. You know, yours, where's Pete? Pete's rang. All of you guys, your phone right in front of me. They rang like crazy. That's not a coincidence. They're really sticking to the script. They're sticking to what they're told to do right now. And we get away from the basics as we get more seasoned, unfortunately, instead of getting back to them. But right now, listen, you work hard, and I say, hey, how many decision makers, Jerry, did you get on the phone today? Well, I got 10, or I got 8, and we look at that as like, man, that's really challenging to get these people on the phone. Remember the statistic earlier, right? It's to get 2/3 of salespeople identify getting decision makers as their top challenge. Well, what if you could have a voicemail callback working for you, and 3 or 4 times a day, somebody called you back, and you're going to answer your phone. Wow, you just turned something around and made it work for you to effectively handle a challenge that's working against you. You get it? Who cares if they call in or if you call them? You got them on the phone, right? Then what you need to do is not, you're so conditioned as an outbound call person, you need to also develop an inbound. When someone calls you, you need to be ready. Because when you pick up the phone, I can tell you, guys, we're not ready sometimes. We're like, oh yeah, I called you. It's like, okay, man, I just wish I wouldn't have made this call back. You get it? Be ready. Have a script for that too. Be ready. All right, let's run through. We're almost done. 21. Increasing customer retention rates by 5% increases your profits a minimum of 25%. I'm going to say that again. Increasing customer retention rates by 5% will increase your profits by a minimum of 25%. By the way, you can increase customer retention, and it's not just based on results of the campaigns or based on results or how much they use your product. It's your engagement team on training is big in that. They need to be doing a better job and a great job. And guys, your team, you guys here in IPD, you need to be doing a better job, keeping in touch with your customers, touching base with them, sending text messages. I promise you the reason, and if you want to know how to do that, you can ask Jerry, because Jerry does a really good job at it. He learned that from me, Tommy, all guys like that were here. I've always been good at retention. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can ask him because he does a really good job at it. And I know how he does it. And it's another training in itself, but that's how you need to figure that out. And it's not that hard to do. It's really just staying in contact with them. They already like you. They're already sold. They already bought from you. You don't need to sell them again. I remember the story I heard from one of my clients that used to spend about $50,000 a month with me back in 2006. One guy for like a year. And I used to call this guy. He used to call me. And one time, about 5 months into our relationship, and this guy's really high up now in an organization. He was a general manager at a Nissan dealership at this time. I called him. I said, hey, Gary, I said, and I'm going through it. I'm like, yeah, man, let me tell you something. Oh, this program, I was trying to get that 50,000, 60,000 pieces out of him. You know what I mean? Like I always did. He always did it. And I was, for some reason, I'm a sales guy, and I'm selling them 6 months into. I'm like, let me tell you, man. He's like, hey, whoa, buddy. Why the heck are you trying to sell me? You sold me 7 months ago. Don't sell me anymore. I'm listening to you. You have my attention. I spent a bunch of money with you. Obviously, I believe in your product. Now, tell me what you recommend I do. Stop me. Never forgot that. Never forgot that. So that's one way you start retaining people. You stop selling them. And you start building a relationship with them. And when they trust you, they're not counting every lead. They're not counting every circumstance. They're not looking at every scenario going, well, how'd this work? How'd that? You get it? They didn't do that. That's not what this was predicated on. That matters, but relationship matters more. Okay? All right. All right, so let's see. 91%, number 22. 91% of customers, listen to this, guys. 91% of customers, first of all, let's make sure you understand that word. They already have spent money with you. They're doing business with you. They like you. Okay? So now we're talking about just them, not all people that you've talked to. 91% of your customers say they would give a referral. Listen to this. Ready? Only 11% of salespeople ask for them. Guys, over 9 out of 10 people say they would, but only just over 1 out of 10 people ask. That's an imbalance. That's an imbalance. By the way, we've tried this. We've done this. And this doesn't ever get any easier, by the way. It never really gets easier because you feel like you're asking. It's awkward, but the reality is this. If they believe in you, and 9 out of 10 say they would, and they continue to spend money with you, they obviously believe in you. You know, they're just busy about their business. And a lot of times we think that the only ones that are going to do it are the ones that are going to do it on their own. Like I received calls from, Newton and a couple of their 20 groups and over the last, few weeks and things like that. And he just started doing that. I've been doing business with a guy over a year. Guess what? That guy obviously believes in giving referrals, but shame on me, I've never asked him. And now all of a sudden in the last month, he's giving me 3. We signed up 3 and one guy signed up 2 stores. Oh no, actually he's giving me 2 referrals and both of them have signed up 2 stores. 4 dealerships in the last month have signed up because this guy's willing to give a referral, but he's been doing business. Well, actually, he's been doing business for over 3 years because he was Tommy's account before I took it over when he left. So what I'm pointing out is it never gets really easier. It always feels kind of awkward. You get it? It always feels kind of awkward. But you ask. Yeah.
My playbook has always been exactly that. You've got to ask for the referral, but what I do or have done is put the referral together for them, not just a generic thing, but something I've done for them specifically so they can see the value I bring to the table. But it saves them time, and of course, they sign off on it.
That's a great idea. So you mean like write it for them? Great idea. By the way, and if it's going to be in writing, what he's talking about is he's talking about like a reference letter or a referral letter or a referral statement. By the way, I would highly recommend doing that. That's very common. That in everything. I mean, I wrote the first book I wrote. I had 5 people. One of them is a couple of them are very well known, like people in ministry leadership. I mean, like they're like well known, and they write New York Times best-selling books. I reached out to him. We follow each other on Twitter and asked him, and you know what he said? He goes, "Sure, I'll write it." He said, "Just write it for me and send me one you want, and I'll approve it." And I said, "No problem." And I wrote it, and he said, "Yeah, that sounds great. Change this word here." That's how they do it. I mean, if you want it done right, then do it. They don't unless they intimately know you, and I think that's a great idea. And but ask them. Ask them. That's the key. Get into that conversation with people that are your customers. Look, guys, we're talking about low-hanging fruit here that belongs to you. Shame on us, right? Listen to this. Here's what's crazy. See, we're talking about, and I'm on 22 still. We're talking about a specific thing here. We're talking about like 91% would give a referral, 11% ask. Now check this out. Those 91%, that huge imbalance, right? Huge imbalance. It's like 80% imbalance right there in the middle. Can I tell you what's wrong with that picture? What's wrong with that picture is there's somebody else getting that low-hanging fruit that's in your garden. That's your fruit. It's in your garden. It should be yours. But some other company's coming in and signing up that customer that would be a referral if you asked or if they gave it. You get it? In other words, that gap, those people are doing business with somebody. So in essence, they're coming into what belongs to you or should or could very easily belong to you. This is just another way to take a very difficult thing, which is professional sales at a professional level, not an amateur level, but a very high-end level, right? And become better at it. And more than just getting better at your opening pitch or better at this, it's better at everything, right? It's better at every aspect of it. Let's move down. All right, so let's see. 83% of customers, we only have like 10 more. 83% of customers are comfortable giving a referral after a positive experience. Okay? So, number 24. Customers are 4 times more likely to buy when referred by someone they know. Now, I'm going to go a little further and say that I don't recall many times in my career where I have not closed a referral. So let me just say it this way. If your closing ratio is 30% and they're 4 times more likely to buy, that takes you above what's possible. 4 times 30 is 120. There is no 120%. You understand? Basically what they're saying is customers that get referred are going to close. You get it? They're 4 times more likely to buy. If your closing ratio is already good, they're done. They're done. Right? And they should be. The guy that bought the other day, by the way, that called in, didn't even look at the demo. Kind of looked at it a little bit. He called in. You know what he said? He goes, well, I mean, I've been in the 20 group with these guys. I know they're performing. They certainly wouldn't tell me that this works if it didn't. So I'm going to do it. It's a referral, guys. It's just different, right? All right, number 25. The difference is, one last thing, well, the next one's on referral too, but one last thing about that is there's a difference because, see, when referrals are always strong, but we can't just wait on them to refer us. We have to get involved in that because we can raise that number is what I'm saying, okay? Referred customer, number 25, referred customer is 18% more loyal. Listen to this, a referred customer. Think about every customer that you do business with now that was referred in some capacity. They're 18% more loyal and they spend 13% more money. They're 18% more loyal. They automatically graft into loyalty. Does that make sense? They automatically graft into it. It's like it's the power of the second voice. It's the same thing as the same psychology as a TO. It's like the same psychology as when you get a group of people, decision makers have like their managers in a room and there's like 3 or 4 or 5 of them. There's like this group. It's like it bonds it together, right? It's the same psychology. It's like you graft this referral in. They feel more loyal and they spend more money. They feel more trusting. It's like they graft it into, they bypass a lot of trust issues. Okay? Number 26, salespeople who actively seek out and exploit referrals earn. Listen, actively is the key word that you want to bold or underline, right? Salespeople who actively seek out and exploit referrals earn 4 to 5 times more than those who don't. They earn 4. Now, it's an active thing. It's got to be active. But guys, I'm going to tell you something. To be honest, I would exploit the heck out of that. You know, and I do. And I would. It's a way to increase your income. It's a way to increase. And by the way, those who get referrals give referrals. Those who are referrals become referrals. They know other people. And it can make you a lot of money very quickly and earn you a lot of relationships. All right, number 28, the average salesperson makes 8 dials per hour and prospects for over 6 hours to get 1 demo or appointment. Think about that. The average salesperson makes 8 dials per hour, prospects for 6+ hours to get 1 demo or an appointment. It's twofold there. It tells you need to make the calls, but it also tells you that you can become above average and get better at that. When Byron did 4 demos in 1 day the other day, that's above average. And you don't, now listen, that doesn't happen every day, but there's reasons. And it's not because Byron can't or you can't or anybody can't. Now that's a very high level of performance. And you're going to eventually need some help. But I'm going to tell you something. There's high level performers out there. You guys know we had this guy on the show a few months ago named Frank Crinetti that sold 170 cars in 1 month, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. 170 cars. He's going for the number 1 guy. He's got to be up there. But he's going for the guy that broke the Guinness Book records last year. That's his goal. But he's consistently sold over 100 cars a month for a long time. You think that guy does it by himself? No, he has a team. Let me tell you something. Byron starts doing 4 demos a day, 16 demos a week, and he starts performing at a high level like that. He's not going to be able to do it by himself. But you know what? He won't be able to count his money by himself either. You understand? In other words, we need to raise the whole bar. I'm telling you, it's a high level, but with high level, there comes help. All right? All right, let's try to finish this up. Number 27, only 33% of inside sales time is spent actively selling. Only 1/3 of the time you spend in an 8-hour day on the phone, inside sales, is spent actively selling. All right, got a few more. Number 28, the average salesperson makes $8 per hour. Oh, we already went over that one, my bad. All right, so number 29, 57% of salespeople are not prepared for the first demo or presentation or appointment. They're not prepared for it. Do your gut check on that. You know, there's a number of reasons why. We don't have time to get into all of it, but if over half salespeople are not prepared for the first demo of the day, first presentation, or first appointment, right, of the day, why? Whether that's an appointment that was set that you jumped on with and you weren't prepared for it, What's prepared mean? Prepared means you don't really know anything about the client. You haven't studied them. You haven't prepared for it. You haven't thought really much about it. You just kind of thought, well, I'm going to get on the phone. It's going to happen or whatever. Or, you're doing this prospecting, and it works for you. And you get somebody that says, okay, well, what do you got? Like Dave did the other day. He snagged one right on the fly, right? His first one that snagged it like that. And they listen. So you've all done that. And that's a way that it's, that's a good way it's done. So but we do it and then all of a sudden we're not prepared for it. It's kind of like that incoming call. Right? Whether it comes incoming, outgoing, appointment, or what have you, how many times, if over half the salespeople are not prepared, how many times have we fallen into that category of just not being ready? Just not being ready for the first one. Why? I don't know. I think there's a number of reasons. Number 30, 92% of all customer interactions happen over the phone. Guys, that should right there tell you. See, that's why I think people are full of it when they say, cold calls dead, because 92%, I'm not just talking about sales interaction, 92% of all customer interactions happen over the phone. 92% of all customer interactions happen over the phone. We got to get better at it, right? We got to own the phone. We got to get better at it. Number 31, only 13% of customers believe a salesperson can understand their needs. We got to get this one as we're wrapping this up. We got a couple more. 13% of decision makers, of customers, right, believe that you or me understand or can understand their needs. The problem with that is, man, that's the only way we're really going to sell them, is when we understand their needs. And you can only fake it so much. You can only, think about that for a second. But here's the good news. That's all salespeople. So what happens if you just get better at understanding the needs of your customer? You are now in the elite category, and now you're going to stand out every time you get a decision maker on the phone because they're used to dealing with most people that don't. All right, 4 more. Number 32, 55% of the people making their living in sales don't have the right skills to be successful. Over half the people that make their living in sales don't have the right skills to be successful. That's what we need to train. Practice, not just train. Training is not just listening to me talk or listening to our academy. Training is practicing. Training is getting better. It's asking for feedback. It's listening. I'm going to tell you something. One of the things, and I still do it every once in a while, in various things. One of the things I've always done and used to do, like when I was coming up in sales, I'd listen to myself. I'd drive home listening to myself, on whatever device we had then, whether it was a little handheld I would bring in. Sometimes I'd stick it in my bag. Way back, early 2000s, I had a little handheld recording and I listened to it on the way home when I'd have to drive 3 hours back from an appointment. And I sucked. And I sat there and I was like, man, how many times I wanted to quit after listening to myself? I'd be like, I know why that guy didn't buy. Man, I wouldn't buy. Listening to your openings, I know why he didn't give me 5 minutes. I wouldn't give me 5 minutes. Be critical, but in a way of knowing that and believing that you are talented. It's just that we have some improvement. And the reality is 55% of salespeople making a living just don't have the right skills. So get the right skills. So here's the deal. See, the difference is if over half don't have the right skills, then guess what? Get the unfair advantage. Get the right skills. Become and get into that category that do. Number 33, continuous training gives 50% higher net sales per employee. Continuous training will give you 50% higher, half higher net sales per employee. By the way, that's a statistic you need to tell in the training your dealerships. Hey, Mr. Dealer, continually training will give and produce over the course of time 50% higher net sales per employee. Now look, takes that 10-car person and makes them a 15-car. Takes that 20, right, and makes them a 30. You get it? Takes that 18, right, and makes them 26, thank you. You get what I'm saying? That's a big deal. So guess what? But it works for everyone who trains in their craft. That's why Tom Brady is out there training. That's why those people are doing that, right? Why else are they doing it? Because they've got more. He wouldn't do it if he was done. He's doing it because I think he wants to be the first guy he wants to win another Super Bowl and he wants to do it and play the Super Bowl in his home stadium because that's something I haven't done before. What else? What else is challenging and motivating him? He's got all the money, right? He got paid more this year. You guys understand what I'm saying? Why else? Why else do the best of the best? Or why is Mike Tyson? He probably needs the money. I don't know. But hey, he's training like crazy, man, to go fight Roy Jones Jr., isn't he? So they got something to prove. All right. 2 more. Number 34, the average company spends 10 to 15 grand hiring an individual. This is another statistic for training guys, for you guys. They spend an average of 10 to 15 grand hiring one person and only $2,000 a year in sales training. So you think about that for a second. You hire someone in hopes that they're going to be good, and there's talent there and there's potential because your hiring process is right, but your training process is nothing. And so you spend 10 to 15 grand on hiring somebody and never develop them. That's why elite athletes are particular on where they go, because they want to make sure that they're going to have the right surroundings, training, the right people, coaches, pushing them, right? So that's a good statistic for training, but it's also good for you to understand, right? We train every day. We train a heck of a lot. We're constantly training. All right, last one, number 35. It takes 10 months or more, this is an average, for a new sales rep to be fully productive. That's just, these are the statistical facts, period. It doesn't have to be, but that's what it takes. So what I look at when I see that is patience. Yeah, I see the ability to train and develop because there's an athlete there, so to speak. There's a professional. But here's the other thing I see: get above average. Get above average, right? Get above average and beat the curve, because that's what these statistics right here will do. So how many sales are you losing, right? I'd say too many, and I'd say not anymore, because the stats don't lie. All right, you guys in for a good week? All right, let's do it this week, guys. Ready? Thank you.